That back there is not real.
There was a group of reptilians there, and they stood around me in a circle.
Tradition tells us that the army of the Messiah is not to come from heaven, but is to rise in
Truth seekers, let me make sure that everything is going. Give me an audio check. Make sure you guys can hear the audio. Let me do that. All right. So we're going to get back into the conversation that we have been having, and the plot is thickening. And when I say the plot is thickening, I'm saying there's more and more stuff coming out about whatever's going to go down with this UFO religion and what is going to change. And today we're going to go and find out what is being said all across in different places. And so I have a whole plethora of information for you here today, and then we're going to go into it because I think it's important. Then we're going to talk about there is some UFO cults out there. There was UFO religion, actual real UFO religion. I'm going to go and name a bunch of those today. Maybe they're going to be so popular in the future. Some was in the past. We already know there were some that ended tragically, and so we will get in that today as well. I'm going to talk about a few other deeper things, and then I'm going to go in here to the Nag Hammadi text later on at the end toward the show, because we've been talking about we're going to do it with the book club, and I was talking to Brother Joseph today, and there was some deep knowledge about love out of all things, and I'm going to read that today. And it's a lot of these things I would love to make sure that I incorporate in my life for the one that is going to be loved by me in the meaning of love. So we're going to go through that at the end of the show and take us into tomorrow. And then tomorrow's show, we're going to go into what I talked about yesterday about all of those churches that was possibly, or is not possibly, under Israel. And I'm going to give the document that you can then go into the chat, and then you'll be able to get it for yourself. So, but before we get to that, we're just going to get things going in the right way. So let's just get this show kicked off right after this. So with that being said, and as you know, later on tonight, we're going to be doing our protection sigil webinar in 3 hours. There's going to be a lot of people's life is going to change as they move forward. But listen, in the Daily Mail, I'm going to go with this one first. The Daily Mail have a huge article that just came out a couple of days ago. And one thing in particular was that religious leaders were told to prepare now for UFO disclosure to unleash biblical changing revelations. And I thought that was probably one of the things that got my attention. I think it is actually going to be profound. And we're going to go into some of this stuff in here, along with some of the other stuff that I have here in front of me. But think about it now. If they're putting this out here in the airways, and I'm talking, this is all over. We have Sun Media. We got different church organizations. Actual church organizations are posting this. Why would they do that? Well, we'll get into it. But this is a story by Chris Malloy, which is the deputy science editor for Daily Mail. And what they're saying is that, once again, it's going to be kind of a common trend that influential pastors are claiming that they have been told to prepare for their followers for shocking revelations about UFOs, which may upend belief in the Bible. Now, isn't that like the Bible is the number one book sold? It is the number one book sold in history. All right. And you're saying that what we're about to hear, what could possibly be said or be unveiled that it will then break the Bible itself? Now, that's something worth all of us to even talk about, even get information about. But here's the catch. I think it's preparing us for not just alien life, but it's a mystical change. Now, they are saying that with what is happening in these other countries and all of this stuff, that there's going to be an Armageddon type thing. There's going to be some type of, Project Blueprint, alien invasion. It could be a whole lot of fake stuff, but should upset society. And then again, we'll get into it. But Perry Stone, I want you to know who this is a well-known evangelist, author, and Bible teacher from Tennessee. He warned that fellow pastors was recently invited to a secret meeting at the U.S. intelligence officials that prepare for secret files on extraterrestrials. Now, I'm really interested in the fact that they are using the word extraterrestrial, so that makes it even more interesting than anything else. But here's what Stone said, and I quote, he said, you're going to have people who are going to say, if there are galaxies out there and then there's alleged other creations in the galaxy, then the whole creation story is a myth, and you're going to have people that's going to apostatize and turn from Christian faith because they have no answer for what they're about to hear. That right there, we should stop the whole train. And I'm going to read this quote again, okay? This right here makes us stop the whole train, all right? And again, this is Perry Stone. Just give you his credentials really quick. He's a well-known evangelist. He's an evangelist. He's an author. He's a Bible teacher from Tennessee. Look him up. But his quote is, you're going to have people who are going to say, if there are galaxies out now, and I'm going to pause right there because I was raised that there was nothing else up here but a heaven and a mansion. That's it. When you look up to the blue skies, it's a heaven and a mansion. I don't know how many of you were told that or heard the story. And it's just a heaven and a mansion. And I think it's something to really think about. But hey, that's where it's going on. All right. Someone say hello, sir. Hello to you and your big, beautiful beard. I'm getting it cut in the morning. Okay. So it's going to get shaved out, not down, but trimmed up. It's going to be looking all spiffy. So tomorrow, 5 o'clock show, it'll be a whole new whatever. So, but I appreciate the compliment though. But listen, in fact, haven't got a compliment all week. So I appreciate it. So anyway, you're going, well, I can't say it. I have heard some good stuff. Late in the evenings, I have. I'll go there. All right. So, but he says that the whole creation story is a myth. The whole creation story is a myth. And you're going to have people that's going to apostatize and they're going to turn from Christian faith because they have no answer. They have no answer. They have no answer. Now, that right there alone should stir up the pot because there's no answer. And what do you mean no answer to what question? Because it's going to be dependent on the questions that they're going to have. What question would most of these people have? Is they're going to have a question that, who is God? Is they going to have a question, are we being reincarnated or incarnated as well? Is there all these different spiritual realms or whatever? You get what I'm saying? It's all there. But here's what I do know. You see, I've been at this for 5 or 6 years on a more TV level. All right. Clubhouse, I was on Clubhouse and started there because I didn't have anyone to talk to. And, at that time, and it was a long, long time ago, I was married and, but at the same time, I just wanted 30 people. I just wanted 30 people. Then it turned to 30,000. Then I interviewed over 400 people. Became an expert at it a little bit, understanding, especially from a different perspective. Oftentimes ridiculed. Family didn't want to talk to me about it. Still today, there are some people, I was just in the building. Someone's like, aliens are real. A couple of my classmates that I went to school with, they're in politics and everything else. And it makes you really, really understand that it's getting ready to get real. So I soon to say with my book that I'm going to verbally thank the ones who bought the book. I got your names right here. So a few of you who I'm going to send them out tomorrow. So I'm going to personally give you a gratitude right here in front of everybody. But where I'm going with this is that there are people out here is calling a lot of us crazy. So I think it's redemption time. I really think it's redemption time, that we're going to have redemption when it comes down to this, and you're going to have redemption. You're going to be able to point in, but we're going to have our egos. We're not just going to be like, nah, I told you so. We're not going to do that because you're not going to have to. You're going to have to give some of them a hug because they're going to cry. Some of them are going to cry. They're going to shake. And because everything that they're built on is going to come unfold. And you're going to have to be consulting them with a perfect little ego we have. You know, you're petty. We want to be petty. We want to be like, but we can't do it because they're going to be mentally affected. And so I want you to be prepared for that. I'm prepared that the channel is going to blow the freaking up. I got books out. I've been on TV, you know, in our community. Our community gatherings is going to be triple the size in the next year because we're going to be the most curious place that people come for answers that can't cope with what's happening, all in due time. And but you know, yesterday the other pastor said that they're lizard people. Now, my whole content about reptilians is out there. I got a reptilian guide. We got a reptilian train so you can see them. All the stuff that some people say, oh, just crazy or they crazy. We're going to be popular. We are popular, but we're going to be speaking and continuing the truth. So let me continue. It's exciting moments, everybody. Very exciting moments. All right. So they reported the meeting that involved approximately 6 Christian leaders. This is the backstory that I'm giving you right now. And it says that including Bishop Alan Didio, and I'm saying this right, from the Revival Nation Church, which goes back to the list of churches and why Israel has decided that they need to put all this propaganda out. We got to start looking at all the collected stories, from politics to consciousness, because oftentimes our conscious people, we disconnect from the politics because we don't want to go there. But we're going to go there, and we're going there because they are making decisions based upon this that's going to affect our conscious lives. So why not know that? But anyway, again, they met in Tennessee. They met in a mountain, and they talked about it. And the meeting also was forward to a propaganda plan that was leading up to disclosure March 7th. So this stuff is getting pretty deep. Now, here's the deal. I want to go give you an inside story. One of the attendees, which was an American evangelist podcaster, Todd Merkel, he added that the government officials who held the meeting expressed concerns about the impact of disclosure on organized religion. So they're saying this. Now, here's what Merkel says. I'm going to give you a quote for him. And his thing is, hey, I came in contact with these guys more than a year ago, and now I've been in touch with them, communicating with them, and their heart is to prepare the body of Christ for what's coming. Come on. Really? Really? Is this where we're going to? Because at this point right now, are we ahead of the game? We're way ahead of the game. We've been ahead of the game. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to start talking about this alien stuff, and I need you all to spread the word, because here's what I'm saying, and listen to what's coming out of my mouth. There are going to be some fake evangelists of UFO. A lot of people claim to be experts in this thing is getting ready to pop up like crazy, like wildfire. Some of them are going to be plants. Some of them are going to be plants to get the attention to keep people from seeing the truth. You got to understand what you're going to be hearing, the propaganda that's going to come out, the demonic stuff. Now, we know both of them exist. They can't make them all one, but we're going to get into that in other stories, because you just want to hear what we're going to be talking about with the vice president later on in the show. So let's just hang on in there. But anyway, he's saying these guys are part of us, and just they say that Christians intelligence. So they're already preparing their story. They already saying be prepared of deceptive government reports about the release. They already trying to position everything so that we and everyone else don't understand. And they're saying that anyone from our ministry will never come in and all of this stuff and asking for money. Oh, we're going to ask for money because we need to get more experts on our show. We're going to have to outbid some of these other people. There's people out there now that got bigger pocketbooks. They're going to get these witnesses. They're going to get people, and they're going to continue moving down the pipeline, and they're going to try to maneuver themselves in front of us. We need to make sure that hey, can you get a picture of this? Because this is my new layout. You know, while this is our producer, y'all just want, But yeah, so I just want to look like I'm doing something, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna post it. But yeah, so we're gonna have to get more people here. We're gonna have to make sure we get more people here and make sure that we get people to truly understand what is happening. You get what I'm saying? And then we can go down that pipe. All right. So we're going to get into something else next that I think is important for us to touch into. And this is as we move into another era here. We're going to pull up this from the Free Press. The Free Press, I have this one right here. And Victoria said, "You're the only expert we trust." You know what? There's a lot of other people out there that you should trust, but I'm going to take that one because with me saying it, and with that being said, you lead me into tooting my horn and say, yes, I have been seen on 11 different TV shows, Open Mind, Beyond Belief on George Norrie, Alien Endgame, Gaia, History Channel, as well as Ancient Aliens. We're talking about Roswell, Forbidden Knowledge. You literally can find me on HBO, YouTube, not YouTube, but Amazon TV, Amazon Prime, in all of them. I'm actually there. I was just looking the other day and I was like, damn, dude, you're on TV, and all those things. And so actually I was at the grocery store probably about 2 weeks ago, and I'm coming back, and the lady, the cash register lady, said, "Did the lady find you? She saw you walking." It was like, "Oh, I can't believe he's in the store," or whatever. I'm like, "Who, me? Me? You talking about me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but shit, pay for these groceries." I'm just kidding. But she was like, "Yeah, I watch you all the time. We see you on TV." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And her kid was like, "Hey, can I whatever talk and whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, cool. Grow up." And I'm looking at the little kid like, "Grow up and be a UFO investigator, son." That was so funny. Anyway, I love it. I love it. I love it. So we're getting there, though. We're going to get where we need to go. All right. So the next part that's going to take it into, and again, I want you to make sure you stick around, because in about 20 minutes, I'm going to give you a lot of what they call religious cults, not cults, but religious churches. I mean, UFO churches. I didn't even know the list of the many that we're talking about exist, people. A lot of them. Now, some of them, was gone, because you remember there was one that everybody got unalive because they was getting ready to go take a ship and go somewhere, and all of this stuff. But there's a lot of them out there, and they're going to blow the F up. You know what I'm saying? Because now they in the driver's seat. Either they're going to get crushed or they're going to grow up. And when I say grow up, blow up. Let me make sure we do that. All right. So here in the Free Press, this is out there too. They're saying that these two Catholics see signs of God in UFOs. I thought this one stuck out really interesting to go over it with y'all, because, I'm scomming everywhere. I got a little software that digs up headlines and let us know what's happening. We get our alerts and stuff. Very cool software. And, but they're saying these people see signs of God in UFOs. Do we want to talk about this? Yes, we do. And I think it's worth us hearing it, because they're preparing all across the board. All across the board. Somebody's preparing for something, some type of whatever. Okay. And we need to kind of look at this. So Diana Pascula and Ross Dalhout, I'm butchering the name. So, I got my grammar box over here and my unlimited letter box over here, and you're welcome to definitely access those and get all of the information for yourselves and everything else. But these two people see signs of gods in UFOs. So it's worth us noting this and trying to see what their perspective is. Now, they was talking to Vice President Vance. All right. So that makes it even more interesting. And J.D. Vance, convert of Catholicism, of course, that's where he came from. He theorized that UFOs might be a demonic trick. What do y'all think about that? That's worth us asking, and I'll see it in the chat and put you whatever. But what is that? All right. And then we're going to turn over a new leaf too. Just let you know, I'm watching other shows that came in my thoughts the other night. It's time for me to watch other stuff and learn what they're doing. I noticed that another show, which a lot of you watch because y'all send me the texts too. And when they do their questions and they say, super chat your questions, whether it's $1 or $2, I think that's one of the most beautiful things. I didn't know people were doing that, but yeah, if you got a question, super chat it, because it does light up on the screen. But maybe that just highlights the question. I'm usually, I just put your question up because of engagement, but we got to do what the big boys doing. We got to do what the big boys doing, because we are the one too. We're doing what we need to do. And then remind you to tell you a story at the end of this. I mean, I need to do that. It's a personal story, but it was a victory I had from yesterday. I really did. I went into battle yesterday, and I was victorious. Speaking of victorious in the show. All right, so Pascaluska, he's a professor of religious studies at the University of North Carolina. He's the author of The American Cosmic, we'll give him that, which is whatever that is, which examines both UFOs, both religious nuts, and both technological phenomenon. She visited the scene of a supposedly a UFO crash in New Mexico. This is her story. Now, according to her, she said the elusive hard evidence of intelligent life body or beyond our planet. So this is what she's classifying this, and I get it. It's pretty cool to really understand that. But I want you to pay attention to what we're about to get into now. Now, combined through Vatican archives and looking for clues, she said, to what these might be, she has a new book out, and I'm not going to promote the book because I'm going to promote my own, right? You didn't get my book. It goes really deep into do that. But anyway, she says that, you know what, we ain't petty because we looking for knowledge. Everybody's looking for knowledge. So the name of her book is The Others, which is UFO, AI, and the Secret Force Guiding Human Destiny. That is her book, and apologize to her completely. And it's in the ethos because that is not who we are and what we do. But that's every now and then my shadow kicks in. My shadow kicks in, that reptilian shadow kicks in, and we fight it though. We just fought it. We won. All right. So a conservative columnist from the New York Times and curious Catholic herself or himself, here's where it gets interesting. After President Trump promised to release the government UFO files way back in February, she wrote about this in 4 big questions in what they call the Times. And those questions really were not just shocking, but it was very interesting to kind of find out, to say the least, of what's going on there. But the interesting side of this is that they're saying that there's a spiritual and supernatural experience that's coming together with this. Now, when they're trying to say these words, this is where they're bringing in the word God. They're bringing in the word God because it's supernatural. You get what I'm saying? Because, you know, that's a term, that's an interchangeable term here. And I think it's very interesting to really look at that and understand what they're talking about and why this is happening. Now, Marco Rubio, if y'all ever heard of this dude, he think it may be some sort of hidden inside the vastness of national security. So everybody got their own thing. But for the fact that they're now going to say that it's a demonic trick, what do y'all think about that? And don't get me wrong, I do know archons exist. I do know that we, in fact, just a pub, you know, in 2 days, Saturday, we're going to be up in here. And a lot of you should be here, the ones who's going to be coming. If you're in Dallas, you're going to come, put it in the chat so I can definitely give you a shout out. And we're just going to be kicking it around. We're going to be talking about this and pretty much seeing what is happening. And so I'm pretty interested in that. But if you're going to be here, let me know. Put it in the chat so I can give you a shout out that you're going to be here Saturday. And we're going to be doing that. But demonic, that's worth noting. And that is something we're going to investigate as a community. Why would they want to tie these things together if they're not? You get what I'm saying? Unless, listen to me closely, unless the preparation is fear and don't believe in Bernard. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you're talking about, Willis. You get what I'm saying? Because if they're going to attach a demonic presence to this, then they can keep the church. You get what I'm saying? Makes sense, because the most evil thing in the church is demons. Am I right over there? You know what I'm saying? Right? And if they can keep the presence of demons labeled to these extraterrestrials, then the rebellion of that is going to stay the same, and then they can keep the control system. You get what I'm saying, right? And so they're preparing for the new perception of all of this to be instilled within our whole ecosystem of that. Now, again, unless the extraterrestrial stands up and say, hey, hold, stop the shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not that. So we really don't know, but that is the plan. And it just makes sense. And we're just going to throw it out there and don't let them just pull the wool over our eyes and say, okay, they're demons. And now make sure you come and you need Jesus because they're demons. You get what I'm saying? So it's still the same thing. It's still the same approach. And that is very interesting for that perspective and movement. And so once again, I get it. I understand that is the very detail of what they're trying to do. And that's not something we're going to fall for. We're just not going to fall for it as a group and everything else. And make sure, again, y'all stick around. We're going to talk about the Nag Hammadi text. I found some stuff in here. This is, remember, it came from 1945, from the Foot Clips, and this is supposed to be the original text where a lot of religions was birthed out of and changed. But since we're going to be having our relationship about love, I was going through this last night and I found 4 interesting texts on how we should see love in our children, love in mates, and love in all of these things. So I'm going to bring it up tonight as a closer for what we're doing, because we're always trying to end in love. And Brother Joseph and I talked about it today too. So I'll give you a little knowledge perspective there. And it's worth everybody staying around for this one once you do that. All right. So with that being said, we're going to pull up what I have here is the Greek Reporter. This is from there. And then once again, they are talking about church leaders warn UFO could hurt religions. Now, why are these churches doing this? Maybe somebody can answer that. And you know what? And if you want to chime in on it, like a quick chime in, like you're in the reporter and you want to hit it and jump out, then I'll put a link in here. You hop up on the screen, have your camera on, your mic on, get in and get out. This is my show. Okay. Get in and get out. Don't sit on my screen and, ask like I would do if I had one wish, if someone said, give one wish, I'm gonna put a bunch of ands, and, but if that's something you want to do, put in the chat. If you want to put your 2 or 3 cents in what we're saying. And maybe I'm going to birth tomorrow's ufologist. Okay. Just by getting you into the game, whoever. All right, but church leaders warned that UFOs could hurt religion and report claims. Now, there was, again, everybody's putting their take up on the story that we heard about, how they went to the mountain, but each people are now telling something totally different. And once again, they're talking about the galaxies. Here they're saying you're going to have people saying what's happening with creation and what's going to happen with who. Now, what possibly, and this is the question that I would have. What possibly could people wonder about when it comes down to this? What could people truly wonder about the creation myth? Let's go with the creation myth. The creation myth was what? We all came from Adam and Eve. So we know that was part of the story. Two people made all of us. And if you believe that one, I got an oceanfront property in Arizona. Okay. Or I'll sell you an ice cube or iceberg in Arizona, and you're going to have it, either whatever. But they did say it. They did say that we all came from these 2 people. And that was the true story. And having said that, maybe that's the most powerful thing in the world, it is one of those things that we will need to look at it. But what creation myth, if some of you can jump in on this, that you would think what they would do. Someone said, I got the book. Oh, okay. You're talking about, yeah, TK is right here. We'll talk. Everybody's asking about the book club, all of y'all. Okay, well, cool. I'm going to go over some of this today, just to wet your beak a little bit. And then we'll set up the book club so we can do it. Maybe we'll do it somewhere else. I don't know. I can do it on a webinar or whatever, so we just in a private group discussing it, and we can kind of go from there. All right. So the next thing we're going to get into is, and like I said, we're going to get into the Association of Religious Archives too, because they've been polling these people. I'm going to put some of that on the screen for you here in a second, so you can see that they're already polling different church groups, what people believe in, what they don't believe in. You'll be shocked what I'm going to show you in a few minutes. Some of these slides and everything else is very interesting, by the way, when we go to that. But before we do that, let me kind of give you a quick promo here of what we're doing. One of our sponsors in our events that's coming up even this Saturday, to let you know we have some great sponsors in doing what we're doing, is Make It Your Own Designs. And like I said, I use their products, wonderful products. She is working on the website so you can get some of this stuff shipped out to you. Everything is uniquely made. We're talking about arrested or not. I mean, I'm not arrested, but anyway, ancestral sense of collections and unisex representing the 13 moons of divine feminine. I like the part of the feminine stuff because that is something that we have invoked in the throat chakras of what we do here and we in the blues and the colors that we use. But anyway, just take a look at this. Rich, the one, the illuminate, the peace, the abundance, enlightened, touche, the atlas, divinity, all of these Orion, all of these are unique things that you're gonna, and I like them. You rub them on that body, man, and it's just unique. In other words, so we're gonna, and in fact, if you come into the relationship New Life Tools that we're going to be doing up here in Dallas August 8th, she's actually already said today she's donating a gift box to that. So, and we'll figure out how we're going to use that in pretty much. But that's the kind of people we have. So you'll be able to come support her in our live events, but also you'll be able to do that. But let's keep going because, and I don't see any of you want to hop up here on with me. So I'm not going to put the thing in the chat here. Okay. What is the book called? All right, we'll get to it in a minute, Dom. Hang on, nephew. And then we will get to it in the next 15 minutes. We'll go, and because it's going to get deep. Y'all got to hear this stuff, and especially if you are interested in love, you will understand some of the stuff that I'm going to say. But in a minute, let me go ahead and go. So in the sun themselves, if you never talked about these people, very interesting, ad, by the way. And they are saying the same thing, that UFO files are coming very soon. And the one that jumps out here is we talking about Kash Patel. Now, all of a sudden, we have the FBI guy right here, and I'm put this on screen for you, that Kash Patel is saying that the UFO release is coming very soon. And he says that, again, pastors and warn Americans to not may abandon faith. Now, that right there, listen to the statement, this headline. Is that triggering for some people? What do you think? That Americans may abandon faith, revelations. I have faith. I make sure they put that shit in the right bucket, okay? You know what I'm saying? They need to put that in the right bucket. They now classifying that all of us is going to abandon faith because of this scenario, and that is not the truth. And when I say faith, now are they saying faith and religion is one of the same? I have faith. I you know what I'm saying? But it ain't got nothing to do with what he's talking about. But now they're putting it out there though. And this is coming from the FBI's office. Now, you got to understand that if the story is true, that our current administration is under the projection of some type of force, all right? And you're hearing that from a lot of people who are close into this White House, that there is something else there that's non-human that is guiding this administration, then the very first thing they want to do is hurt believers. If it's a satanic thing, and if that's it, then we're not just up against a UFO problem here. This is why the protection sigil shit is going down tonight, okay, at 8 o'clock. Yeah, I'm tooting my horn. You get what I'm saying? But you got to understand there's another plan here. So tonight, we'll be 10. If you know right now, you already know something is off, then we're having a live webinar tonight. It's called protectionsigil.com. We're going to be doing it in 2 hours or 3 hours. And it's going to get really deep. And there's a link in the description if you want to show up, and you're going to get a workbook and everything else. But let me pack up to what I'm just saying. They're saying the rumor allegedly, I'm going to make sure we use those words so we don't get sued. And I told y'all yesterday how the Jackson family reached out to me and want me to, because we got some content. So they did kind of rub me a little wrong way. So I contacted the dude and told him come back to our show next week. Now, so we just going to go in deep. I know, right? Producer was like, hell yeah. So we going to go in deep. His book is out. The movie is out. They telling me I should be, protecting the legacy. I mean, it was long from the family. I'm like, nah, that's not me. That's not me. That's not me. We're here for the truth. If you don't want us to know the truth, I'm fine. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all into being the two of us need look no more. You remember that? Yeah, that was my song. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you ain't have no friends, you at the crib. Well, I had a lot of friends. I was an athlete. So, but the whole point is, that's it. Let me get out of there because there's too many Jackson Michael fans in here. Michael! And everything else. Also, I'm going to post some of yesterday's comments from my videos up here in a little bit. And one in particular stood out the most. And y'all know how I am. I'm going to go in on this person. I just want you to know. Okay. I'm going to go in on the person. I hope he's in the show or she is watching, because you have got to get it. All right. Just letting you know. We can't go without giving you a piece of it today, and hang around. So make sure you don't go anywhere to hear your story. But anyway, Patel has made comments, and it is real trickery when we're talking about what I'm saying is that the FBI, we already know he does the current administration's bidding. We already know he was put in position for that to protect the Epstein's files. Most people are saying Paula White, if you remember her, Paula White, look her up. She is the advisor to the president, and she is the spiritual advisor. And I've met Paula White, not physically, but I've seen her in Dallas on several occasions back when I used to go to the Potter's House Church long time ago. And she was a regular there. You know, Bishop bought her a car. She bought him a car, you know, and now, of course, she's connected to Israel. And now the Potter's House is on that list that I'm going to show you the entire list tomorrow. And maybe you see your church on it within the states that they have in it, and then you can download it too. I'll put it up so you can get it. But the whole point, and not just the list, but the filing, right? That's supposed not to be hanging around out there, but we have it. This is what we do here. We're going to expose that stuff. But she walked away. She posted something recently. She walked away saying that whatever she walked into at this White House recently was out of control. And a lot of people, and not just people, but nations are going to be pretty much in shambles when it comes down to this. Now, with her being a spiritual person, and then also she does Trump's bidding too, which you still got to kind of like, a little bit. But the fact that whatever shocked her and rocked her boat, it must be on the spiritual or religious level, right? At this point. And if you start thinking about, they keep saying it's going to shake Christian faith. They're not using no other words. They didn't say Muslim. They didn't say, all the other religions. No one is saying that the other religions are going to be messed up, but Christians. Why is that one? Why is that the only point? And now, only person who has a problem against that, what I would say on a massive level, would be the satanic side, right? The satanic side. Am I correct? So now we're looking at who's going to go after that. And then they're saying that the guy may have some of that in him. So start putting two to two together. You get what I'm saying? Start putting two to two together, and then we're going to really, really understand that something is happening out here. So I don't know. It's worth us knowing once we see this. So let's just go down into it, and let's make a link at it that, hey, it's interesting enough to go down the road. So that means me telling you, as I'm warning you, to say, hey, it's time for us to look at it. Now, I told you the story before, if you haven't heard, when I went to the UFO conference and when I went up in the mountains and the people that I met, and one thing specifically she told me, and with great despair, and frustration on her face, and saying the humans and this and that, and she was speaking that language, but she reminded me that it was more than just UFO. She did say it was, angelic type things. It was demonic stuff in different dimensional entities, and that you need to prepare yourself for. And we need to tell you about your soul contract. So when they told me about my soul contract and all those things, it was very interesting. And you really don't know when you're on path until you're on path, right? And you start looking back at all of this stuff. But make a long story short, I'm supposed to be here doing what I'm doing with you. Okay. And that's a great significance when I say that. And for those who are connected to me, then we're supposed to be doing this together. Okay. And make no mistake about it. Nothing just happens. If you're here listening, you're supposed to be listening, because obviously the preparation has been done long time ago. Our skeins was woven a long time ago. And now we're going to fulfill what we're supposed to be doing. And I'm just very enthusiastic to be on the front lines of doing what we're doing. And so, and my energy has just been off the roof. Even after I tell you this conquering battle that I had yesterday, a 10, 15-year battle that I had, and I walked away and it's kind of weird too. I'm making a side, what I call a detour. So y'all excuse me, but I was talking to Joseph today, and I said, today I didn't have some certain little body pains that I would have. And I was like, could that stress of what I've been dealing with this individual and stuff and crap cause inflammation? And then he was, because obviously, and I didn't think two to two, but he said he had a friend in the hospital. Now I do remember when I was married a long time ago, and I went to do a checkup, and the doctor was like, "What is going on in your house? It's going to kill you." You're right. And so it's like, wow, because whatever, I relieved all of that, and just say, hey, I'm the sugar honey iced tea. You know what I'm saying? I barked, and I just barked. I bit yesterday. Enough is enough. This has been going on too long. You know what I'm saying? I was King Kong. And, and then that last day or so, like, damn, it's just, this shit lifted off. It's crazy. So, all right, we're going to get into a list of religions now. Okay. And I think this is important. List of UFO religions. Let me be specific for you. UFO religions. We're going to get into that. And which is very interesting, by the way, very interesting. And these are religious groups that deal with alleged communications between humans and extraterrestrial beings. These are religious institutions, and it's a whole list of them. I'm just going to call out some. You might be already part of it. Give yourself a shout out if that's your religion in here. You go to that church or whatever they call it. And everything else. We have someone made it in the house. He said, I made it. All right, cool. Yeah. Great. Thank you for coming. But you in time, because we're going to go over some love in a few minutes. All right. I mean, y'all all got to be around for this one. Okay. You got to be around. And this is going to be part of our book club too. So, and I'll give out the book in a minute. But list of UFO religions. Now, this is very interesting, by the way, because they're either going to, and some of them are gone, because one of them took out everybody. So I want y'all to know about this one. All right. And you probably already heard of it. But these people took out everybody. I mean, they all just said, okay, the ship is coming. Let's just go. Now, we can say it was tragic back then. And I'm going to get to it when we get to the list, so you'll know who it is. So, because I got a lot to say about that now that I'm a little more enlightened than I was when I heard the story years ago. And it was like a cult-like story, but now it's like, did they get on the ship? Did they really? Because, you're leaving this body, you know what I'm saying? And so it's one of those things. But anyway, this is a list of UFO religions that allegedly have communication between humans and extraterrestrials. Now, they believe that the arrival or the rediscovery of alien civilizations, technology, and spirituality will enable humans to overcome culture, ecological, you got my grammar box, you already know, spiritual and social problems, such as hatred, war, bigotry, poverty, and such to be resolved through superior whatever. An alien abduction belief can lead to a formation of UFO religion. And I can keep going, but that's not us. We're truth seekers. We're freaking truth seekers. You're a truth seeker. I'm a truth seeker, and we're seeking the truth. So after we go through this UFO stuff, then I'm going to give you the report of how the churches, they are literally, this came out yesterday, they're literally going around talking to the churches and seeing what they think. Man, they're doing freaking polls right now with churches. This is real shit. Yeah, check it out. I'll be going over it in a minute. So our producer over here, but and she should have saw that already, because it was her job to give it to me. There you go. There you go. Oops. Yeah, you go. So anyway, so she's looking at it again. How about that? So, but we're gonna be talking about love in a minute. Okay. I just want y'all to know. I can't wait to share with y'all what we're talking about and more of this approach that we are. All right. So let's see who's on this list and who is. And it ain't the Santa list who's being naughty or nice. We already know what I think about Santa Claus, right? I can tell you that I fell for it. Told my kids about Santa Claus and how they're going to be naughty and nice. It's the same God story that we're told that somebody's watching us and we're going to be naughty and nice and all that. So then we had to get the kids believing the guy in the red suit and how many of us did it? How many of you told your kid, well, you ain't going to get the toys because Santa ain't going to buy, until you went broke. And then you admitted to the kids, oh, I bought that. When it's only a few items, you already know that. They be like, oh, I'm going to admit to them. I'm going to admit to them when it comes down to that. All right, so this one is called I can't pronounce that. What's that first word? No, the name of the first religion right there. Something society. What is that? She having a problem too. Ebonics now. We just go with A Society. I can spell it out to y'all. Ethereus, right? Maybe. I don't know. But they got the symbol that they use is their logo is the trip. Yeah. So, but anyway, the founder is George King. This was founded in 1955. I'm going to read y'all the link because I don't pronounce it, but it's AE. You can put in, you can spell it out, then you can post it in the chat right there. Is AETHERIUS, Aetherius Society. Now, this is by George King. It's AETHERIUS. So now and y'all can look this up. Their logo is pretty cool. Now this one, and they've been around since 1955. They're in the UK, so they have their own religious they're all based upon UFOs. Athavris, this was in 1980s. This is in some other country. Now, what I'm going to really do is stick with all the US base, okay? And we'll skip all these other countries. It don't really matter for us. This was called the Ashtar Galactic Command, 1977. I need to look this one up. You know what? We need to contact all these people now. We're going to make them famous. All right, let's put that on the list so we can start interviewing their pastors. All right, and we got the list here. Their church. We'll make a donation to get them on here. You know, so they can't turn down that, would they? I mean, you know, we broke though. We're talking small pennies. They take everybody else's money. All right, then. So we're going to get them on here. So, and we're going to do this too, by the way. We're going to do it. All right. So this one is Association of Siddhanta and Sanat Kumara. I don't know what Sanat Kumara. And this is, oh, Dorothy Martin. I wonder if that's my cousin or so. They formed in 1965. I wasn't born then. But Dorothy Martin in U.S., shit, shout out to the Martins. All right. Association of Sanat Kumara. Shit, sound like my people. I don't know. I'm gonna look them up though. Oh, now this one, this is what you saw. Armageddon Time Arc Base. This is a religion, by the way. Armageddon Time Arc Base. They're already ready to go. Their name of their religious organization is When Did Noah Build the Fucking Ark? They're gone. They probably, we need to go look them up. They probably already gone. Armageddon and RVO Nordrag is, and they did this in 1966, but they're gone. And again, if you're just joining us, this is a list of UFO religions. So you can find home somewhere. Some of y'all, you know, if y'all not gonna come and join Truth versus Authority, and we're Truth Seek, we're not a religious, but you know, we are a nonprofit now. So, well, yeah, we could be a religion, yeah. Oh shit. Damn it. Damn, throwing a rock at somebody else? God darn it. I know that person. They used to work for me. She used to work for me when she was 14 years old. No, not 14, 12. Her mother, they used to do our yard sales. I don't know how she is now. She what, 30 or 40 years old? She just looked familiar though. Yeah, I went in our facility or whatever. Maybe she was older than that. I'm not for sure. But her mother used to work for our store. I used to own a pager store. All right. So Armageddon Time Arc Base. Okay. So they're ready to go. Now here's another one called Blue Rose Ministry. All right. Blue Rose Ministry. This is Robert Short. This is in 1960 is when they formed this one. Somebody said you're not a religion till someone calls you a cult. I'm with you on that one, right? All right, so we'll go with you on that one. Cassiopeian Experiment. I don't know what that is. Is that Cassiopeian? All right, so it's CASSIOPAEAN for those of you scholars in the room. Experiment, and it's by Laura Knight Josdak and Art Josdak. The names of these people are aliens, probably. Okay, all right. Christ Brotherhood. All right, that's cool. Church of Universal and Triumph. All right, so they're a UFO cult or church, I'm sorry. Cosmic Circle of Fellowship. William R. Ferguson. And a lot of these things they was originated a long time ago, y'all. So that is something for us to look at. And so, like I said, we're going to get into this Nag Hammadi text here in about 10 minutes or less, 5 minutes. So, because I'm going to jump in and out of this one. But the one I'm looking for Oh, here's one called DeVille UFO Inc. Wow. We got a lot of people to contact. Extraterrestrial Earth Mission. This is a church. Now they would this is Savia and Cilia in 1986. They just formed this thing. Extraterrestrial research. No, extraterrestrial Earth Mission. So imagine you going to that church and doing that. Ministry of Universal Wisdom. I'm just going to skate through it. Oh, here's the one, Heaven's Gate. Everybody know their story. Remember, they left. They went to heaven. I don't know what they did, but they took everybody. Marshall Applewhite, y'all remember the story in 1970s where they all decided to get on the ship, and wherever they was going. But now, and let me bag up to the story of why I said what I said, because when I thought about it back then, it was more of a cult-like situation. That was my thoughts, okay? Now, when we know that this is an out-of-body experience, what did they know? Could they have some truth that this out-of-body experience, and they just left? You get what I'm saying? I don't know. But maybe that could have been, what do y'all think on that? Because if y'all remember, Heaven Gates was a tragic story. As a matter of fact, see if you can find some facts on that. He gave them something. They all did they die or they just went to sleep forever? You know what I mean? Are they reincarnated or did they go somewhere else? But anybody know the story of Heaven's Gate? Put it in the chat a little bit because somebody said they didn't drink Kool-Aid. Y'all funny. Y'all funny. Okay. I mean, y'all not funny, but y'all got humor and I love the humor. Okay. But what I'm saying is, let's think outside the box for a minute. What could they have been told? Because and I'm saying this now because we do know that this body is a bodysuit. It's just a bodysuit. We know this. Okay. So what is it that they could have been told these days that now things have changed? Things have went into a whole total different direction. So what are y'all thoughts about that? Because could they have gone somewhere else and they knew about it? Okay, so we got some facts on this right quick. On March 26, 1977, 39 members of Heaven's Gate, including their leader, Marshall Applewhite, was found unalive in Rancho, somewhere in Santa Fe, California mansion, and it was the largest mass suicide in U.S. history. Members believed their bodies was vessels. Okay, so listen to the whole thought. They believed their bodies were vessels that suicide would allow them to bond aboard an alien spacecraft traveling the Hale-Bopp comet to reach a higher experience. Now, the beliefs is said that was founded in 1970. The group was led by, of course, Applewhite and someone else, Bonnie Nettles. And they taught the followers that they could transcend their human existence to reach what is called the next level. And then a physical place in outer space. They believed that the earth was about to be recycled and that their only chance to survive was to leave the physical bodies behind. Now, and I'm saying this to say this now is that just think about it now, y'all. A bunch of us, I know I did when I heard about the story. When did it happen again? March when? Okay, 1997. So we're talking 27 years ago. Now, I wasn't even where I am today. So when I would have read that, the first thing I'm thinking, there are some crazy people took their lives. But listen to what he said. The body's just a vessel. Is he lying? Was he lying to those people? He wasn't lying. The body is just a vessel. He was speaking some truth. Now, what was on the other side, ain't none of them came back to say, unless they're time travelers. I don't know. But the whole, or unless they reincarnated. You get what I'm saying? So he said that the body was a vessel, and therefore those were the things. So that's something. So where I'm going with this is this. Look for this to be repeating itself. I'm just saying this because if they believed it and they did what they did, and all these other UFO religions was still centered around it and didn't do it, but if one of them has been infiltrated with the same thought, they're going to tell their people that he was right. What he did, Mark Applewhite did, was right, and we're going to see it again. Tragically, I'm not predicting. I'm not a psychic to predict it, but I would hate for someone to jump on that and grow a whole nother cult and saying that this is what's happening, right? But you have the right to believe and be part of whatever you want. All right. Now, I'm not for sure here. I'm going to read this out loud. And let me make sure before I read that. Is this true? Are they considered a UFO cult, a church? Where my thumb is, my finger is. Yeah. They're saying that the Nation of Islam is a UFO religion. Now, I've seen them on the corners holding signs with UFOs and everything else. I don't know anything about the Nation of Islam. If any of you do, is it considered a UFO religion? They're on the list. So if you in the room in here and invest the case, let me know. Nubian Nation, we already knew who that was. Dwight York, and then of course it was D. York, and he's in prison right now for his conversations. And so now all these people ahead of their time. So would they let them out now? You know, because obviously they're not lying, you know, about what they're. Okay, someone said, yeah, the Nation of Islam. Now, unless you're in the Nation of Islam, I'm not going to go with that. But if you are in the Nation of Islam, then let me know you're in it, and then it is what it is. So we'll go with that because Scientology, they said they're a UFO religion, and solar light and sunburst and universal. There are so many. So we're going to stop right there because I can go on forever and investigate the origins of Noe, Roderick, demonic. Okay, Noe, and is that no, N-O-I is what you're saying, Leroy? All right, so that was that. So what I did was, because we're at the top of the hour, we're going to get into this so we can get out of here and pretty much. But before I do that, let me thank Derek. Derek is getting ready to get his book tomorrow. It's autographed on my desk Kindle. Lavelle, Richard, you know, all of you who bought the autographed copy of this book that went to roderickmartin.com. I want to thank you personally that I am going to send them out tomorrow. And I did have a specific message for each one of you, how I was feeling so you'll get something special that's written on that. And so we're going to go down that pipeline. All right, so we're going to get deep into some of these words. And so I think it's very interesting for us to, really go there and where we're going to go. So I think that's the main thing. And so let's handle that right about now. So our book club is going to be going into the Nag Hammadi text, all right? Now, what this is, and if you're watching this for the first time, and don't go anywhere for this because you got to hear this, all right? The year 1945, at a foot of the cliff along the Nile River near the city of Nag Hammadi, an Egyptian pheasant unearthed a large storage containing ancient manuscripts. The discovery turns out to be one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of the past century. A treasure of 4th century texts, the manuscripts and scriptures of ancient mystical tradition called the Gnosticism, from the Greek Gnosis, that is secret knowledge. It is discovery that challenged everything we thought we knew about early Christian church, ancient Judaism, and Greco-Roman religion. So it goes in deeper and deeper, but I'm finding it very interesting. And so let me read to you a couple of things I ran across when they were just talking about love. I thought it was very interesting. I know I put it in here, my bookmarker, because I'm reading it. Did I? Boy, that means y'all may not supposed to hear this if I was to lost my bookmarker. 800 pages in this damn thing. So, I was going to go over this stuff here too. The ARD, where it said the truth isn't out on religion, and it's kind of got some slides there. So what I'm going to do is find my page, and I'm going to just say it's going to lead me to it because it's supposed. Ain't that so shit? I did it. There's the page. See, that's when you know you're on point. That's when you know you're on point. I just said it's going to lead me to it, and I opened the page right there out of 800 and some pages. That means y'all supposed to hear it too. Okay. Y'all supposed to hear it. So we're going to get into it, and I want to know what y'all think. Put it in the chat. So I'm making sure I got everybody who's supposed to be hearing me talk about what we talking about. And we are going to go there. All right. So love. I started looking up in here, and there's 3-4 scriptures from ancient knowledge, by the way. We're going to talk about ancient knowledge. And they talk about 4 things: knowledge and love, spiritual love, children in love, and sex and spirit, which is very interesting about it. So we're going to start with knowledge and love and what the ancient knowledge says about this. Let me know if y'all ready for this in the chat. Let me know if y'all been ready if y'all ready for this, and put it in there. Let me know, because otherwise we can go to the last part of the show and be done. Because I maybe you ain't want to hear this Thursday night. You don't want to talk about this. You booed up. You know what I'm saying? And it may challenge how your boo experience love. Okay, I ain't trying to wreck no boats and all that, but it may bring some of you together too. And it's still UFO. This is UFO alien knowledge or ancient knowledge. And remember, the knowledge was brought in from those ancient people anyway. You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? And so let me know if y'all down with the program, and we will go. Yeah. So yeah, we're all right. Here we go. Somebody says been ready. All right, we got some ready. I'm ready. We got ready. We need at least. No, I didn't. Did I look like D Stokes? Give me a break. Talk about he ready. Only if y'all knew. Only if you knew the face behind that name. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. All right, but I need at least 10 more people. We got 150 people in here today. So I need some more people to tell me that we want to go to some ancient information here. All right. Somebody said they've been ready. I'm good with that. Somebody said my future boo is out there. All right. I like how you think. There you go. All right. So regardless of that, let's go. So the first one is knowledge and love. All right. And remember, we're going to go, and then 800 pages in this book club. All right. Boo hit like, that's what he said. He hit the like. It says, whoever knows truth is free. Remember, we're talking about knowledge and love. And a free person does not sin, for one who sins is a slave of sin. Truth is the mother, knowledge is the father, and those who do not allow themselves to sin, the world calls free. And it said they do not allow themselves to sin, and knowledge of the truth lifts them up. Now, here we go. That is, it makes them free and superior to all. But love, conjunction, what's your function? It says, but love, whoever is free through knowledge is a slave because of love for those who do not yet have freedom of knowledge. Knowledge enables them to be free. This is really fucking deep, by the way, before I give you this last part, which is even deeper. Because remember, Brother Joseph was saying that you cannot choose who you love. But in order to have knowledge, you have love, and then you're a slave to love. That is so powerful, by the way, because now you understand what love is, and then you give it, and you're a slave to it. Because you remember, I told you one of the things that I went through, that I started asking, hey, I need to learn true love because I never experienced it, and I'm wanting to. And then all of a sudden, I started building a community and started meeting everybody where they are. And I was like, damn, you got to love everybody where they are. And it's undeniable, right? It's unconditional. But anyway, listen to this part. Love never says it owns something, though it owns everything. Love does not say this is mine or that is mine, but rather all that is mine is yours. Ain't that powerful? Don't it make you just want to tear up? You know what I'm saying? It just makes you want to cry. You know, let me read that again. Just emotional. Just a full-grown bear-killing man, a lion-killing man like me will tear up for a rabbit. But like, love never owns something, though it owns everything. Love does not say this is mine or that is mine, but rather all that is mine is yours. That is my statement. You know what I'm saying? Be like, hey, do this with me. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of, that's just so beautiful. Okay, we're going to speed it up a little bit. The next one is called spiritual love. This is from the ancient people, though. These are the ancient wisdom, okay? Somebody talk about bring it up. All right. So spiritual love is wine and perfume. People who anoint themselves with it enjoy it. And while these people are present, others who are around it also enjoy it. If the people who are anointed love leave and go away, those who are not anointed but only standing around are stuck with their own badass odor. Woo-hoo. Yeah, I put in the word ass, but it says bad odor. I know, right? But that's some deep shit, though. You see, look, we dropped about 20 people. Well, they don't want to talk about love. I'm telling you. But it also says that the Sumerians gave nothing to the wounded person except wine and oil, which they call it the ointment. And listen to this. The ointment healed the wound, for love covers all multitude of sin. Ooh, that's powerful. All right, so this next one is going to trip you out. And y'all got to hear this one. It's called Children in Love. All right? And love. Children and love. Y'all with me? Y'all with me? Y'all still with me on this one? We got one more after this, and then we're gonna go. So let me know if y'all with me. Because y'all probably need to go right now. But children in love and love, not in love. So I want to make sure. Children and AND love. The children, this is good. This is fucking good. It said, the children a woman brings forth resemble the man she loves. I'm gonna stop right there for y'all. Let me know y'all ready if y'all want me to continue, because this is gonna get fucking deep. This is ancient wisdom though. But the first line says, the children a woman brings forth resemble the man she loves. Let me know if y'all want to go further than this, because this is, get ready. It's gonna take you for a whole nother loop. Okay. All right, we got a couple with you. Come on now. You see them jumping off. They like, they don't want to hear that. So all right, so let me finish real quick. It said, if it is her husband, they resemble her husband. If it is a lover, they resemble the lover. Often, if a woman must sleep with her husband, but her heart is with her lover, which is whom she is usually have sex with, the child she bears will resemble the lover. Is love more powerful than that? Saying that if she has a husband and a lover and she gets pregnant, regardless, that kid is looking like the lover. Is that when a man say, I need a DNA test, even though he's the father? Damn, that's some deep shit. This is ancient knowledge, by the way. So who lives with the Son of God does not live with the word of the world, but love the master. So what that means, that they would bring forth, not resemble the world, but may resemble the master. So if she is adoring her man, then that kid will look like him. That's some deep shit. We're going to talk about that deep. The spirit is real. Okay, so here's the last one, and it's called Sex and Spirit. And this is a great way to segue to we go. Humans have sex with humans. Horses have sex with horses. Donkeys have sex with donkeys. Members of a species have sex with members of the same species. So also spirit has intercourse with spirit. World mingles with word, and light mingles with light. Now check this out. If you are human, if you become human, a human will love you. If you become spirit, a spirit will unite with you. That's deep. If you become word, word will have intercourse with you. Whoa, boy, that's some good shit. If you become light, light will mingle with you. If you become one of those above will rest on you. If you become a horse, a donkey, a bull, a dog, or a sheep, or some other animal, or wild, tame, neither human or spirit, nor word, nor light can love you. Woo. Damn. And those above and those within cannot rest in you, and you have no part in them. Man, I'm like, we learning some shit. We are learning some sugar, honey, iced tea. People, I appreciate you all. I hope you, when we do our book club and then when our relationship seminar, that last part, because that's when you grow from human to spirit to light. And, you know, especially a lot of people that have that energetic aura and all those things, you're going to attract those other people. This is what really matters. And like they said, if you had it and that other person, they cannot function. It's not going to happen. But you can love something else, but it ain't going no further. That's the whole point. I don't know, but yeah, that is something that we will say. Somebody said my kid looks just like his family. His family. Well, you love his family, you ain't love the man then, huh? But yeah, they should look like him. Tell everybody with kids they better look like you, you know. All right, so with that being said, for those of you, we're going to see you in about an hour at 8 o'clock. No, 2 hours. We're going to have our, you're going to really enjoy this webinar, the Protection Sigil webinar. And so make sure you be prepared for that, be ready for that. And we're going to be having that. And the link is in the description. So if you're definitely about that, be ready. All right. So I love each and every one of you. Like I said, you know that I love you. I love you all. Make sure y'all put that in the chat. You know, we are going to be doing some August the 8th. There, it's going to be powerful. So make sure you attend all of those things. I will see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We're going to go into that list with the churches. So make sure you be here. See if your church is on there. It's not all of them in the nation, but there's a few states or major states that they have to report it. But some of them, you might know the pastors of them. I don't know them all. And maybe we'll go over that together. But it's worth knowing that churches are apparently under the Israel rule, right? Because that's really important that you want to know that, and you want to make sure that you understand that it's happening out there, right? And it's more importantly that we just pay close attention to those things. So again, I want to love every one of you. I will see you. We have a huge crowd out there today. Imagine someday we have a show with seats out there. People watching this. All right, you can say good night, and I will see you all on the next one.
UFOs.
UAPs.
Unidentified anomalous phenomena.
Unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Who are they? Where are they from? And what is their intent?
All questions that immediately come to mind with the mention of UFOs. A Pentagon report is detailing a dramatic increase in UFO sightings, more than 350 since 2021. Many of them are explained as being drones, birds, or weather events, but about half of them remain unexplained.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA.
My gosh.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
This video taken by the Navy showing what he describes as pyramid-shaped UFOs flying over the USS Russell off the San Diego coast in July of 2019. The Pentagon has since confirmed that the video is authentic.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico, and sent to Wright Field, Ohio, for further inspection. Late this afternoon, a bulletin from New Mexico suggested that the widely publicized mystery of the flying saucers may soon be solved. Army Air Force officers reported that one of the strange discs had been found and inspected sometime last week. Our correspondents in Los Angeles and Chicago have been in contact with Army officials endeavoring to obtain all possible late information. Joe Wilson reports to us now from Chicago. The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. As a matter of fact, the 509th Atomic Bomb Group headquarters at Roswell, New Mexico, reports that it has received one of the discs which landed on a ranch outside Roswell. The disc landed at a ranch at Corona, New Mexico, and the rancher turned it over to the Air Force. Rancher W.W. Brazil is the man who discovered the saucer.
There's footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are.
More people are coming forward with their own sightings.
Videos recorded by U.S. Navy personnel have added a new layer of evidence to the current national debate about UFOs.
Right at that moment, I saw what looked like 5 lights flying in formation in kind of an inverted check mark.
The NASA independent study team did not find any evidence that UAP have an extraterrestrial origin. We don't know what these UAP are.
The mysterious flying objects are still a mystery. NASA will continue investigating them and has appointed a director of UAP research.
Technology that we faced
was far superior than anything that we had.
Oh, man, look at him fly!